First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Harakakwadash. And I would also like to give a double honors unto the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone that do rule well, that have taught me this truth. And I would also like to say a sincere shalom unto the hopeful elect, unto the scattered elect, unto the brothers, the prophets, the men that are out there prophesying, laboring in this truth and in this doctrine. Unto you I say shalom. The end of an empire, all right? And that empire that we're at, that we're approaching the end of, is America. Okay, really the rulership of Esau, Edom, okay, which the so-called white man, all right, who you ignorantly call white, all right, who's not white, he's red, all right. The word Esau stems from Edom, which means Adawam, which means red, okay. Adawam, uh, is Edom, and Esau means wasted away is he. Okay, going back to Genesis, the 25th chapter. But we're at the end of this man's kingdom, and it's being made clearer and clearer every single day as we begin to see prophecy come to pass. All right, this man Esau is being revealed. He's revealing himself in these last days, and it's no denying it. All right, this place is divided more than ever. All right, of course you got the division between the right and the left, Republicans, Democrats, but you even have these MAGAs. You have division amongst these different political parties. All right, it's a divide amongst these MAGAs. Okay, and before a place falls, it's going to be great division. It's going to be civil war. These are all traits of great empires, great kingdoms that fail. Okay, like we all there's so many parallels of Rome and America, and the same things are happening. All right, feed the people with bread and circus. All right, the inflation of the dollar. All right, the same thing happened in Rome where they the inflation where they had the denarius. All right, which was the they use lesser metals to devalue the money. The same thing they're doing here. All right, but there's so many similarities, and you Israelites, you better open your eyes and understand the times that we're living in, and how the severity of the message that the prophets are bringing forth. Okay, because no one, the Lord said He's going to come like a thief in the night, and no one, no one after this whole Venezuela thing, all right, with the potential attack on Iran, Trump wants to go after Mexico or Greenland, and this devil's everywhere right now, and no one really understands the magnitude of what the hell is going on. Everyone's ready for NFL playoffs, involved in some type of nigga gossip or some a pop culture folly, whatever it is. All right, but we're at the end. We're nearing the end. All right, so let me start with Ecclesiastes 7 and verse 8. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, and the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. All right, and the better of the end of it is better for us because we're at the end of our captivity. All right, the nation of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans and Israelites scattered amongst these heathen nations. It's great for us because we're at the end of our captivity. Our punishment is almost up, okay? But it's not a good thing for Esau, okay? Because their kingdom, all right, is their empire is falling, and that's going to be the beginning of their captivity, all right? And the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit, all right? We're patiently waiting, okay, for Yahawah Bahasham, Yahawashi, for Yahawashi to come back and deliver the elect and take his rightful seat on the throne and rule in righteousness, and take this devil out, okay? But before he's doing that, the Lord is revealing this devil to the world, okay? So the world can see who the wicked is, okay? The world can see these devils for actually who they are, and yeah, we're talking about of course, the American Edomite, but we're really concerned with the international, the wicked elite, the international bankers. All right, because they're the ones that are pulling all the strings. They're the ones that's moving all the chess pieces on the board. All right, where they're playing in the background where no one sees them, no one knows who they are. But the prophets, through the spirit of Yahawah Shai, see this devil and see what they're doing, and we see their end. Okay, in this devil's mind, they don't see an end. Okay, they think that, once they conquer, well, they damn near conquered damn near the whole world. But once they finish, conquering these several different countries, and coveting all the resources there, then that's where they feel that, okay, uh, they're reaching their heart's desire. All right, they're fulfilling their heart's desire by ultimately bringing forth their new world order, which what this is about. This is all conquering these different nations, and taking all their resources. That's part of their new world order. Because after they conquer the nations, he's got to conquer the people. All right, through manipulation, of course, deception, and the main thing that they want to do is to chip everyone. All right, that mark of the beast. All right, don't these devils is they're constantly working. They're constantly thinking on and scheming on ways to deceive and trick the people. All right, so let me get this, because I mentioned that this devil, he thinks that their kingdom, all right, their rulership is going to last forever. This is Psalms 49:11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever in their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. All right. So in Esau's mind, they never think that their military can be defeated. They don't think that they're they don't think they can be stopped. It's like, who can stop us? Okay, and we know who can stop them. We know who's going to stop them. All right, but in their mind, they're thinking like, well, shit, I didn't got away with all this dirt and did all this dirt throughout the world. Who's going to stop me? Okay, the Lord is going to stop you, all right? Because the Lord is ultimately in control. The Lord put you in that power seat. He gave you that sword to rule, all right? He gave you the spirit and the power on the left-hand side of deception, all right? He gave you the technology to almost fulfill your new world order, to think that you can fulfill this new world order, okay? Prophecy says otherwise. Okay, you can't beat prophecy. You can't go around prophecy. You can't you're not going to get your blessing back, because prophecy says Esau is the end of the world. Let me grab it. Second Ezra chapter 6, and I'm gonna start at verse 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times, and what shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? So this was always a question that the prophets, the disciples of Yahawashi, they want to know, when is the kingdom going to be established? When is this current setup, all right, this current rulership going to be brought low, brought down, all right, and the kingdom of heaven, a righteous kingdom, will be established on earth, all right? The prophets always inquired of that, and we know, we see it. We see the prophecies. We see the tokens, all right? We see the prophecies speaking. Excuse me, because the Lord has given us the eye salve to understand the times we're living in, to understand who this devil is and what what he's about. All right, the average Jake don't know. They know that this Esau's a devil, but they don't understand that his history is in the Bible. His history goes back to the garden. His history is just deeper than what we see before our eyes and what he's currently doing. All right, this devil has always been a devil, a deceiver, a manipulator, okay, a false accuser, okay, a slanderer. All right, that's how he gets down. Verse 8, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the hill of Esau. All right, if you go back to Genesis, the 25th chapter, is the angel told Rebekah that the elder shall serve the younger. Why is that? What like it says later on in this chapter. Why don't we have like the prophet Ezra asks the angel, why don't we have a heritage with the world? Why are these heathen ruling over us? All right, because we were under the curses. Okay, but it says Jacob's hand held first the hill of Esau. All right. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right. So Jacob's kingdom will have no end. All right. A world without end. Okay. But Esau is the end of a world, meaning the end of an age. Okay. We Esau has had two back-to-back rulerships. All right. Then they were brought low for a portion, for a period of time, for bound in the bottomless pit for 1,000 years, and then that deadly wound was healed, referring to Revelations, the 20th chapter, and they came back into their rulership. They came back into their power seat, where they would deceive, where they have deceived, where they would deceive the nations, deceive the world. Okay, but and everyone was deceived. Everyone had, were blinded by the deception and witchcraft and philosophies that this devil brought forth. Okay, but the Lord has given his prophets, his servants, the prophets, the mysteries to break down these scriptures, starting with Abba Bivens, his elders, the disciples under him, our apostles, their elders, and the brothers that are pushing this word, and pushing this word in faith and sincerity right now. Okay. So we're at the end of an era, and whether you want to believe it or not, we're at the end. And a lot of our people, they don't want to accept this as the end, because with the end of something, it comes change. All right, and no one wants to change their lifestyle. No one wants to change their living situation. Change is not good for everyone in their mind, but the change that we're talking about is a complete 180 from where we were at. The Lord is going to flip this world upside down, where we're at the bottom and Esau's at the top, but Esau's going to be at the bottom and we're going to be at the top. All right, and a lot of things have to happen for that change to happen, but meaning going through difficult times, going through that straight gate. All right, everyone's good with change if it's easy, if it's convenient. But this change is not going to be convenient. It's not going to be easy, because Esau is not going to allow it to be easy. Esau is going to come down with great wrath, as is spoken of, that we've been bringing out, damn near every other lesson concerning this devil, because he knows that he has but a short time. So you think this devil's going to go out, and just say, okay, yeah, my time is up. Here's the kingdom. No, the scripture says in Daniel 7, the saints shall take the kingdom and possess it forever and ever. All right, this is 2 Ezra 9, and I'm going to start at verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past that I have told thee before. And the signs represent the prophecies. Okay, so when you begin to see, what's going to say it, earthquakes, uproars of the people, but when you begin to see false anointed, when you begin to see false prophets on the rise, all right, when you begin to see crazy weather patterns, when you begin to see great deception, when you begin to see signs of the mark of the beast, cashless and digital system they're trying to implement, these are the signs that to know that the Lord is about to come back and judge this place. Okay, then thou shalt understand it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then thou shalt well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before, even from the beginning. All right, the Lord had prophets in the garden. Okay, the Lord didn't actually speak, but it was the Lord. It was the prophets that spoke. It was the Lord speaking through the prophets. Let me grab this scripture, Hebrews 1, to back up what I'm saying. Hebrews 1:1. The Most High, who sundry time in divers manners spake in past times unto the fathers by the prophets. All right, the Lord is always speaking through the prophets. Okay, back to 2 Ezra 9 and 5. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Everything has a beginning and an end. Okay, and everything is good, all good at the end. At the beginning, Esau, they had their rulership, they had the world and dominion, they had slaves, they had we're still slaves, but they had us in a hardcore bondage captivity. Okay, we didn't have, and not only that, but we didn't know who we were. Okay, so that was even that allowed Esau to deceive. All right, if we knew who we were, all right, when they called us black and negro and latino or Cuban or whatever, we would say, no, we're this. No, we're Israelites. I'm from the tribe of Manasseh. I'm from the tribe of Asher. I'm from the tribe of Naphtali. Whatever perspective tribe each Israelite was from, we would be able to say that. But what happened? We lost our heritage, and that's what allowed Esau to have that great deception amongst us and our people. Okay, but that's coming to an end. Why? Because the prophets are being raised up. The prophets are standing on their feet. The prophets are proclaiming this truth. Okay, right where it says in what is that? Wisdom of Solomon 5 of those that have afflicted them. All right. Let me continue to read. Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. All right, and we're living in a time where you're going to see is the effects and signs of the end is going to be, plague after plague. Of course, world war. All right, civil war, civil unrest. It's going to be, it's it's going to be when the Lord really, when the angels that are holding the four winds, as it says in was that Revelations 7, when they release those winds, meaning the destruction, that's it. All right, the Lord is not going to call back the plagues. That's it. Okay, because a Esau's kingdom is pretty much through once the elect is sealed. Once the elect receive that once the elect is sealed, that's it. Once the elect receives that Yahawah spoken of in Ezekiel, that mark of exemption, all right, then the Lord's going to let all hell break loose. Not just in Babylon, America, but globally. Okay, you're going to have these uprisings of these different countries. You're going to have countries that were once allies with America, with Esau, all right, with Israel. They're going to come against them, all right, and we're coming into the time where this is the fifth day of the year, and shit is heating up. Where it's almost like where Esau is, of course they did what they handled, they did what they had to do to Venezuela, but while they're moving, they may start, they're talking about Iran, they're talking about possibly Greenland and Mexico, various other countries. So the whole world is on alert right now. The whole world is paying attention to America and what they're doing. All right, and eventually the Lord is going to, like it says in what is it, Ezekiel 38th chapter, that the Lord is going to put an evil thought amongst these nations. All right, where they're going to draw the line and say enough is enough. Okay, we're going to have to do something about this beast. We're going to have to do something about America. We're going to have to do something about Israel because they're going to realize like shit, we're not going to survive. All right, we have to make alliances with these different these various countries to try to come up against this bully. All right, who has been bullying the world for so long. All right, let me grab and when you understand that the Most High put this devil in his place, in his in all rulers, the Most High always has had has set them up and brought them low. All right, this is Daniel 2:20. Daniel answered and said, "Blessed be the name of the Most High forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. He changeth the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding. He revealeth the deep secrets. He knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwell within them." So the point is verse 21 where he removeth kings and setteth up kings. So don't Esau, gets it in his mind that he set himself up, that he put himself in the position, that he was so smart, he was so cunning, he was so valiant in war that he delivered himself. He put himself on the pedestal that he's on right now. No, the Most High put you there. Okay, but hey, the Most High did the same thing to Pharaoh. All right, made him believe he was great. He could never be taken down. And what happened? Pharaoh was wiped out, and and damn near wiped out with those 10 plagues. And then the Most High just finished the job when he drowned them Egyptians, the Pharaoh and his army in the Suez Canal, or Red Sea. It says in the scriptures. Let me grab Daniel 4:17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand of the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of man. The Most High can give the kingdom whoever he wants. Okay? But this prophecy said that Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And Jacob's rulership represents the kingdom of heaven, which would follow after Esau's rulership. All right, it being the end of the world, meaning the end of an age. And all we have to do is we have to identify who's Esau, who's ruling right now, who's currently ruling. It ain't the Arabs, okay? It ain't damn sure ain't the ashy ass Hamites, the Africans. Who's ruling? It ain't the Chinese, okay? It's not the Japanese. It ain't the Russians. It's the small, predominantly the small hats, okay? And America is their their muscle pretty much, okay. But and that so you could go through a process of elimination because you can't talk about these people. They're they're the heads of all these Davos meetings and World Economic Forum meetings and G summits. Okay, of course, America being the main representative, but we know Amalek is pulling the strings behind closed doors. Okay, let me grab another script precept. Psalm 75, and I'm going to start at verse 6. Let me see. For promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south. But the Most High is the judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another. So the Most High is the judge. He puts up one and sets up another. All right, but like I said, this devil thinks that he did it himself. Like he in his mind, he's thinking ain't no Most High. It's no one but me. All right, it's no I deliver myself. I made myself this great, this powerful. Okay, you know he acts like he's the one. It's the Most High that deceived the nations. He just used you to do it. Okay, it's the Most High that put the curses upon us. It's the Most High that put the spirit on you to come down upon us. Okay, this is Isaiah 47:6. I was wroth with my people. I have polluted my inheritance and given them into the hand into thine hand. All right, the Lord gave you into our hands. Thou didst show them no mercy upon the ancient. Thou hast verily, verily laid thy yoke, and thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember in the latter end of it. All right, this devil's not. They're not thinking about the end. Okay, they're thinking about shit. They're thinking about the 10, 20, 50, 100, 1,000 years from now. All right, where they're going to still be ruling. All right, they're not thinking of the latter end. All right, verse 8. Therefore hear now this, that thou art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thy heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. All right, this devil's sitting on that top of that hill, right now the top mountain, okay, the top government, and they sit as a proud ass woman. Okay, that's why Babylon's referred to the virgin daughter of Babylon. Okay, America. All right, but these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood, they shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries, the witchcraft, the philosophies the devil has pushed throughout the world. All right, and for the great abundance of thine enchantments, sorceries, witchcraft, they all go hand in hand. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me, thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. And thou hast said in thy heart, I am, and none else besides me. Okay? That's how this devil thinks. That's how this devil not only thinks, that's how this devil, that's the actions of these devils. And that spirit has spread to even these low-level Edomites here in Babylon. All right? Therefore shall evil come upon thee, and thou shalt not know whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee, and thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. And that's when eventually when these nations, which have been confederate, which have been allies of Babylon, of Esau, they're going to come against them, as it says here in Obadiah. I'm going to start at the top. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord concerning Edom. So you know who it's talking about. Edom will be humble. That's the title of this in the blue letter. Edom have Edom have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Let me go down to verse 6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All these things that were hidden, all right, the Esau's wicked history, all their wickedness that they've done in the past, all their secrets, all their lies, they're being exposed. How are they searched out? Because of the prophets. The Lord put the spirit, had given the spirit of prophecy to the prophets, and given them the eye salve to see and report these things unto the elect, the hopeful elect, that they may see that they may be able to see and take heed in the times we're living in. All right, and sever themselves from this system, from this devil. All right, from wickedness ultimately, and repent. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. All right, all these nations that were at peace with Esau, everyone's shaking hands, and everyone's shaking hands in the meetings and the summit meetings, and we're all good because we're all making money. But at the end of the day, all these nations that Esau has made agreements with, pacts with, all right, they're going to deceive them, okay, and prevail against thee, and they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is no understanding in them. Excuse me. Let me go to Revelation 18, because this is the destruction. All right. Isaiah 47 spoke of some of the destruction, but this is the ultimate destruction of Babylon. The Babylon is fallen. I'm going to start at verse 4. Revelation 18:4. I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, that ye receive not of her plagues. All right. That's literally, all right, the angel saying, Come up out of her, because America is going to be destroyed. And that's the elect that's going to be delivered from the destruction ultimately. Let me go to a precept real quick in Isaiah 26. Isaiah 26, and I'll start at verse 20. Come, my people, enter into thy chambers and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself as it were for a little moment until the indignation be overpassed. For behold, the Lord cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth shall also disclose her blood and shall no more cover her slain. All right, the point is in 20, really, for the people, my people, the Israelites, the elect, to come into the chambers. The chambers, remember, is talking about the chariots. All right, and the doors are going to be shut, that you hide yourself from the indignation, from the destruction of Babylon. All right, as is spoken here in the 18th chapter, Revelation 18, or Revelation 18:5. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High have remembered her iniquities. The Most High remembers and sees all your iniquities, all your wickedness. All right, all the way back to the tail, the garden, the serpent. Okay, let me grab this real quick since I said that. Was it Revelation 20? Yep, Revelation 20:2. I'll start at 1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold of the dragon, that old serpent, which is devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. That old serpent, that's representing that old serpent goes back to the garden. All right, that same spirit that the serpent had, that Cain had, that was passed on to Esau. All right, and the devils, they got the same spirit on them, and now, okay. So back to Revelation 18. Reward her even as she has rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. In the cup which she has filled, fill to her double. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her, for her slain in her heart. I sit a queen, I am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. All right, like I said, Like I was saying before in Isaiah 47, that's the spirit of Babylon. That's the spirit of Esau. That's the spirit of the wicked elite. Okay, I'm. They feel like, man, they don't even know it's us. Okay, they think it's Trump. They think it's this person. They think it's this person. They don't even they elites think they don't. The people don't have a clue that we're behind it. Okay, but the Lord has given the prophets the spirit, all right, the apostles, the elders, their elders, to identify this devil, to identify their history, to where we can pinpoint there, because the big thing about it is these devils are so stupid. They're doing the same thing they did in Rome. Okay, all right, by deceiving the people, having draconian laws. They even tried to have a some type of tracking system um, back in Rome, but it was like clay tablets. But now they have the technology to fulfill. This says in was it Psalms 10, I believe, to fulfill their heart's desire. All right. Therefore, verse 8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall utterly be burned with fire. For strong is the Lord power who judgeth her. All right. So that judgment is going to come from the Lord. And all these nations are going to watch, because they're going to mourn and weep, because they live deliciously off this place. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and live deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they have seen the smoke of her burning. So that means this place is going to go up in fire. All right, the land of Israel over there is going to go up in fire. All right, damn near the whole Middle East is going to be destroyed. Okay, some parts are going to be, in the world are going to be preserved, but the majority of uh, 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 the whole planet is going to be completely restructured just off the missiles hitting Babylon. Okay, imagine the earthquakes that the scripture said the earth shall rock to and fro like a drunkard. So imagine the earthquakes and the devastation that's going to take place throughout the whole globe just off the destruction of Babylon. Okay, and that's going to be the big bang at the end to end to end everything. All right, because and after Yahweh, of course, after Yahawashi comes back, all right, all the nations are going to be in subjection, but eventually they're going to try to fight against the Lord. But the Lord's going to, man, the Lord's going to make easy work of these nations, where these nations ain't going to think about lifting up a hand, or think about trying to come against the Lord Yahawashi. All right, the most high Yahawashi, or any Israelites or his men, all right, or the elect. Okay, so we're at the end of an empire, and we see it. All right, it's becoming, it's becoming clearer and clearer every day that we ain't gonna probably don't make it to 2030. We probably don't make it to 2029, 2028, 2027. A lot of shit gonna happen in 2026, but 2027 could be the year. All right, because all we need is the right crisis, the right false flag event to push everything into full gear. All right, for where they implement that chip, or because we're at the brink of world war. All right, and of course we understand. Or well, we're we have to be patient. When we see things in the news, we're anxious, and this could be it. Like, no, wars take time. Okay, and once these nations reach their boiling point, or once these nations really have have set their alliances, and got everything. That's when this war is going to eventually crack off. Once Esau has conquered here and conquered here, and these nations, these various nations that are watching, eventually going to make a choice and decide. Then we can we'll get a clear picture of the scriptures already show us who's on who's who as it pertains to prophecy coming against Babylon, because all these nations eventually going to come against Babylon. But but we're at the point where nations are beginning to align themselves with with different alliances to eventually come against this place and protect themselves against Babylon. So I didn't want to go too long. Just something on my spirit, with everything going on, and we clearly see the end of this man's empire. And I forgot I even brought this up. I looked it up. It's the average lifespan of an empire is often cited around 250 years, a figure popularized by Sir John Glove's theories about imperial declines through some studies offers slightly different estimates like 220 years. So hey, this place is due. I believe July 4th, 2026 marks 250 years of Babylon. So hey, perfect timing. Okay? All right. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying unto the hopeful elect, and I would like to give all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Harakak Kwadash. Shalom.